essentially we're going to be talking about how to run someone down, which everybody knows, and sort of how this is like you normally run. I'm starting over. Oh, I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous? Today we're going to be talking about 6-man, specifically advanced playstyles, or playstyles you probably haven't done before or heard of. So everyone sort of knows the first playstyle, so I'll start with that, which is sort of just running someone down and trying to kill them, normally a non-mobile person like a Zen, Ana, McCree. But there are a lot more options, so I'm going to show you a few different ones. Essentially, this is like really good if you're playing into like a spam-based composition, because normally when you play in a spam-based composition, you have to win the fight fast. So I'm going to show you a few ideas on how to do this using some cool techniques. So the first idea is to actually make it look like you're running down someone who is like a non-mobile person, but you actually go for someone else. So in this situation, the enemy Ana is all the way over here. This is a very far distance, and if you were to approach this way, that would be really rough. So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to actually rotate like this to close distance to get closer to the Ana. Then the Ana is going to be like, oh man, I'm scared. So when that happens, the Ana then is probably going to back up and like try going here. But the Ana will wait till you probably rotate. So you rotate here. Let's get this rotation here. Then once this rotation is done, note Sombra's hiding back here invisible. Sombra is going to look for a hack while these 5 people look to push forward. So these 5 people will look to push forward, looking as if they're going on the Ana. And obviously when this is happening, you're playing into a pharmacy comp. So, you're going to amp speed. So you still have your mobility cooldowns. Your Moira will use heal orb. Your Diva will like stay on the ground, like DM the Pharah, and then soft fly up the Pharah when needed. And then your Tracer will also maybe approach from another angle. Tracer can maybe come from here if needed. But now what the concept is that you're going to make it look like you're going on this Ana. So you go really hard. This Ana will then, run away. Mercy might come back and peel if needed. Diva might come back and peel. But what actually is going to happen is your Sombra is going to like play on a corner, something maybe like over here or over here, over here. And as soon as this happens, your Diva is going to shoot, your tanks, and then your Sombra is going to hack the Diva, and then your team is going to turn instantly when they go here and turn back and actually go on the Diva that's hacked. Ana now is out of the fight because Ana thought that you're going for the Ana, but you're not actually going for the Ana. Everyone's going to turn, kill the Diva. Then after that, again, you still have your movement CDs. After that, you can then go on someone else. So maybe you can go on the Mercy if the Mercy has no fly. You can maybe go on the Pharah if the Mercy peeled the Ana, and you can maybe burst the Mercy. Or maybe you can stabilize for a second because you're low, then go point. If your Sombra is able to hack someone, the Sombra might be able to hack the ball or the Tracer. So you're sort of essentially using the concept of the enemy team is they think you're going on someone, but you're actually going on someone else. And this concept essentially works like this. The playstyle is you're actually going to kill tanks instead of killing squishies. Normally, like I said, you normally go for non-mobile people and you run them down. With this playstyle, you're actually playing to kill tanks. So that's this concept of running baiting. You're running someone down, and instead you go for a tank, which is hacked. Diva is normally one of the best tanks to go for because Diva is a really easy hack target. Ball isn't that bad too, so you can definitely go ball as well. Right, next concept, we're going to talk about baiting an enemy into a pinch. So I want to use Sky as an example, and we'll also look at another example here as Mecha Base. But the first one, right, is essentially, let's say your team is rotating, and we'll try and again, like, make this look good. Do something like, whoa, what's a big Lucio over here. So when you start making this rotation, the enemy you're gonna go like this, and the enemy Brig Ana is gonna be scared, right? Because they don't want to get brawled, like they're gonna lose. So they're obviously gonna rotate and rotate over here. So you're gonna play this sort of rotation game where it's like, okay, can we get on the Brig Ana and kill them? Well, in this concept, you can also do the same thing where you can try and go on them. And you can maybe hack a tank, if the Diva's on point, your Sombra can maybe play to hack the tank, and then instead of going on them, you could look to, make it look like you're going on them, maybe like go like this, and then make it look, and then drop and go on the Diva. But we're not going to do that. We're actually going to go on these guys. But how is that going to work? So what we're going to do is when, your Reaper is in a hidden position, your Reaper is actually going to look to like telly somewhere over here. So the Ball Tracer will probably hit us on rotation maybe, and then they'll cycle out. Then our Reaper is going to go in here with our team. Whoops. So our Reaper is probably in this is right over here. Our Reaper is going to stay here, and the rest of our team is going to rotate. So the rest of us are actually going to move. Whoops. Struggling to drag these things. The rest of our team is going to move. Our Reaper is going to stay there. And then because we know, right, because we know that when we rotate over here, when we make this rotation, we know that the enemy support line is going to rotate like this. What we're going to do is we're actually going to have our Reaper telly over here. And now, when we make this rotation, when we go like this and push them, this Brig Ana most likely does not know that there's a Reaper behind. And then what we end up doing is we sandwich them. And then we kill them, or sandwich, pinch, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this is contingent on the fact that they don't see the Reaper like teleporting behind. The whole concept that's really important. That's why to counter this you scout, because if they do know the Reaper's behind, then you can just get forced out and it won't go as well. So you're sort of playing in a position where your anti-LOS enemy team can't see what's in here, as well as getting a good spot where you're telling works as well. I can sort of show this on mecha base a little bit cleaner. So here, let's say you're playing into a ball comp here. You might even play brawl here, and this concept can work with brawl as well. What you'll do is you'll sort of have 5 people, which you normally have a Reaper. You'd leave the Reaper there, and you start making this rotation. When you make this rotation, I think most people would know that these guys start running away, and they start playing over here. Now the ball tracer might hit you, fine. They hit you, they get out. Now you guys keep moving. And you're going to look to push them here. When you do this, you speed boost. Your Reaper repositions over here. Your Reaper will then pinch them, and you get a kill. Again, this is contingent on the enemy team, how well they're scouting. So again, this is sort of the bait into a pinch scenario. I'm going to give another example that is a little different, but it's still the same concept, where it's sort of like where they're going to go, so you're sort of ready for it. So you might have seen this a few times in maybe Overwatch League or something, but most of the time, Brig over here, Zen there, Diva maybe here. So most of the time there's an Ashe or Hanzo up here. And if a Winston jumps on this, right, this person's probably going to be forced down because they're pressured. So now what you do, here you probably run, if you want to run this type of strat, you probably want a Tracer. You could run a Reaper, but like Tracer would be better. And you can also do the same concept with the Tracer, just not as much burst damage. So here now what you do is your Winston's going to jump on this Ashe. This Ashe is then going to fall because he's low, and your Sombra is invisible, and because that when your Winston jumps on the Ashe drops, or this could be a Hanzo too, when he drops, your Sombra is just ready, and just shoots the Ashe, and then kills the Ashe, and now you have a pick. And then Winston drops back, your team gets heals, and then after that, your Sombra may translocate out or chill, you look for another hack, and you go off that. Right? But this concept is sort of the concept of, when your Winston goes on someone, the enemy team is going to like back off somewhere, and you're ready to punish that. So again, sort of still baiting an enemy team. This is not really a pinch, but it's more of just punishing where they're going to kite. Last thing we're going to talk about is passive tempo. And the way I look at this is sort of like you position, like you want to play first, but you're actually going to end up playing second. So you look like you're playing first, and the enemy team thinks you're playing first, but you actually end up playing second. So we're going to use this, Gardens as an example. So you've got point control in Gardens. You're holding really close. Your Winston's here. Your Moira's over here. Your Lucio's here. Your Tracer's applying pressure. When you look at this, blue team thinks, oh, their Winston's holding close, right? They're being aggressive. But the fact is, you're actually not trying to play aggressive here as Winston. You're actually going to try and play slow. But what you want the enemy team to do is use CDs to engage. Like you want the enemy team to push with Coalescence here, or maybe Primal, or maybe, I don't know, Pulse Bomb, maybe anything. Like they get EMP too, maybe, and you want to try and live that. It's a little more tricky. But you want them to use some ultimate or just push in and use a bunch of CDs. When this happens, and the reason why you might want to do this is maybe the blue team has like 5 ults and you only have like 1 or 2 ults. So you want a longer fight, because if you take a fight straight up, you might just lose. So you want a longer fight, which forces them to use ultimates. Longer fight means you build ultimates, and then you can win the long game. Plus you have point control, so it benefits you in the long haul. So here, these guys push forward, and when they do, Winston, you take pressure, and then you just jump out. Right, you still have amp speed, by the way. So your Winston jumps out, plays this corner. Your Diva then also backs up, just doesn't even use fly, just walks out with passive speed. Moira backs up, and now your team's playing over here. And if the enemy team used Cole to push, they're like, oh cool, we have space. But the fact of the matter is, yes, they have space and they have point control, but they used Cole, and the fight's going for a while. In this situation, your Sombra comes behind and starts peppering the backline and hopes to maybe build EMP or just split focus and force someone more to turn. Now you look to push, where you look to like be more aggressive. Maybe you've had time to build your Cole. Maybe you have time to build Pulse and you push Pulse. So maybe you use Primal and you buy more time. Maybe you use your Diva uses Bomb and tries to buy time. Maybe Moira uses Cole to buy time because your Sombra's at like 60%, and the fight just keeps going. Maybe let them cap. Now your Sombra's at like 90%, and then your Sombra comes in, EMPs, and you speed boost and amp and push, and you sort of kill somebody as long as you cause them with the EMP, so you have good target focus. Something also to realize again is the amp hasn't been used yet. So if the enemy team tries to push you even more, you can always amp speed out and like kite even more. You can keep backing if you need to. right? And the enemy team then gets baited into open space, and this could be bad. Why? Because now your tracer could like punish them, and then you can maybe push back in. So this is the concept of sort of like by holding close and making it look like you're actually going early. They forced either they use ultimates because they're scared and like they need to take space, but because you're mobile heroes and you have a speed, even if with a Rhine based comp you can do the same thing. You can hold close with Rhine and then you sort of just like amp speed out, and maybe they use coal and you trade their coal for amp speed, and you just speed it out, and then you live for a while, and you maybe stack some CDs or use ultimates to buy time if you need to, and then maybe play for another ultimate, or just force them to use a lot of ults. And this is a cool way to take a fight when you're disadvantaged. Instead of saying something like, oh, we're just going to take a dry fight, you can do something like this. Okay, hope you guys learned a lot, and yeah.